Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's talk about shoulder complex. Shoulder complex comprises of 5 joints, right? And these are sternoclavicular joint, acromioclavicular joint, coracoclavicular joint, glenohumeral joint, and scapulothoracic joint, right? Now there are 5 joints in shoulder complex. Now let's study these joints one by one. Sternoclavicular joint. Sternoclavicular joint is the joint between sternum and clavicle, as you can see this and this picture. This is sternum and this is clavicle. This joint is called sternoclavicular joint. Next, acromioclavicular joint. The joint between acromion process and clavicle is called acromioclavicular joint, as you can see in this picture. And as you can see in this picture, this is AC joint. Coracoclavicular joint. Coracoclavicular joint is basically the joint between coracoid process and clavicle. And the coracoclavicular joint is actually the type of joint is syndesmosis, and this joint is joined by coracoclavicular ligament, so that's why it's called coracoclavicular joint. Next is glenohumeral joint, which is also called shoulder joint. The joint between humerus and glenoid cavity of scapula. It's called glenohumeral joint, and this is ball and socket joint. Scapulothoracic joint is actually the joint between scapula and thoracic wall. As you can see, this is scapula and this is thoracic wall. The joint between these two is called scapulothoracic joint. So we have studied 5 joints in shoulder complex. Now, the most important muscles in shoulder are rotator cuff. The mnemonic to remember rotator cuff muscles is SIDS: supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. You must know the orientation of these joints, that where these muscles lie. You must know these muscles. This is the posterior view of scapula. This is the spine of scapula. Above the spine of scapula is the supraspinatus muscle. Below the spine of scapula is infraspinatus muscle. And the lateral border of scapula comprises of teres minor, right? And the subscapularis muscle is actually on the interior side of scapula. And all these muscles form a tendon, which is called rotator cuff tendon, and they are actually inserted on the bicipital groove of humerus here. You must know about these joints because these are the most problematic joints, most problematic muscles when it comes to the injury or the problems related to shoulder joint, or you can say glenohumeral joint. Next, you must know about the capsular pattern of shoulder joint. Capsular pattern is actually the pattern of restriction of a joint. Every joint has a specific pattern of restriction. For example, shoulder joint. शोल्डर जॉइंट में सबसे पहले जो मूवमेंट रिस्ट्रिक्ट होगी वो एक्सटर्नल रोटेशन है, देन एबडक्शन एंड देन इंटरनल रोटेशन. इस तरह हर जॉइंट की पैटर्न ऑफ रिस्ट्रिक्शन है, जिसे हम बोलते हैं कैप्सुलर पैटर्न. ठीक है, तो शोल्डर जॉइंट में सबसे पहले एक्सटर्नल रोटेशन, देन एबडक्शन, देन इंटरनल रोटेशन विल बी लिमिटेड. Open pack position. You must know about the open pack and closed pack position of shoulder joint. Open pack position of shoulder is 55 degree of abduction and 30 degree of horizontal adduction. And the closed pack position of shoulder joint is full abduction and lateral rotation. Why we need to know about the open pack position and closed pack position of the shoulder joint? The major reason is that in open pack position, all the joint mobilizations are performed in open pack position. So that's why you must know about these positions. Now, the next is actually we're going to study the movements. There are different movements that occur at the shoulder joint: flexion, extension, adduction, abduction, medial rotation, lateral rotation. There are other movements like medial rotation of humerus, lateral, horizontal adduction of humerus, and horizontal abduction of humerus as well. So let's start. let's study about the muscles that contributes to the flexion of glenohumeral joint. So the three muscles that contribute to the flexion of shoulder joint, जो क्या हैं deltoid, pectoralis major, and coracobrachialis. Three muscles. So you have to remember this by the mnemonic, which is called APC. A means interior deltoid, P pectoralis major, and C coracobrachialis. APC, flexion of the shoulder. And the muscles involved in these movements are these. As you can see this is pec major, this is interior deltoid, and this is coracobrachialis. Now let's talk about the muscles which contribute to the extension of glenohumeral joint, or you can say shoulder joint. तो उसमें आते हैं pectoralis major, latissimus dorsi, and teres major. So the mnemonic to remember the muscles for extension of shoulder is LP, latissimus dorsi, and pectoralis major, LP. And for flexion, that was APC. Okay, now the muscles that are involved in the extension are these: pectoralis major, this is latissimus dorsi, this is teres major. This is actually the interior view of the body. This is the posterior view, and this is also the posterior view. The muscles which contribute to the abduction are supraspinatus, middle deltoid, and trapezius. The mnemonic to remember is STD: supraspinatus, teres minor, supraspinatus, trapezius, and deltoid. STD. Now, the muscles that are involved in the abduction are this deltoid and supraspinatus. You can see these muscles. You must know where these muscles lie, so that's why I've added the pictures. Okay. Now, the muscles which contribute to the adduction of glenohumeral joint, वो है जी latissimus dorsi, teres major, sternocostal pectoralis, assisted by a short head of bicep brachia and long head of tricep brachia. And the mnemonic to remember the abductions, adduction, muscles of adduction is PT, pectoralis major, and teres major, PT. And these muscles are here. You can see this latissimus dorsi, and this teres major, and this is sternal pectoralis major. ओके अब जो मसल्स इन्वॉल्व होते हैं मीडियल रोटेशन में ह्यूमरस के, वो है सबस्कैपुलारिस एंड टीरीज मेजर, एंड द mnemonic to remember is PTS. P for pectoralis major, T for teres major, S for subscapularis. And you can see these muscles, this and coracobrachialis also assist in this movement. Okay, the muscles that are involved in the lateral rotation of humerus is infraspinatus and teres minor. And you remember it with the mnemonic IT, infraspinatus and teres minor. And the muscles are this deltoid, you can see here, infraspinatus and teres minor. ओके अब जो हॉरिजॉन्टल अडक्शन कराते हैं वो मसल्स वो एपीसी हैं जो दैट आर इन्वॉल्व्ड इन द फ्लेक्शन. तो एपीसी एज यू ऑल नो डेल्टॉइड, पेक्टोरस मेजर एंड कोरैकोब्रैचियालिस. और जो हॉरिजॉन्टल एबडक्शन कराते हैं वो इंफ्रास्पाइनेटस, मिडिल एंड पोस्टीरियर डेल्टॉइड और टीरेस माइनर मसल हैं. एंड यू कैन रिमेंबर इट बाय PIM. P for posterior deltoid, I for infraspinatus, and M for middle deltoid. And this is all for today. Thank you for listening. Now, if you have any question, you can ask. Thank you.